Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And if you squint, I think you could call this podcast elegant.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Elegance is what we strive for here.
Elegance is in the eye of the beholder, I'd like to say.
They need to update their prescription.
It's Pride Month, Shaun.
It is Pride Month, and Rem, I've got a whole lineup of LGBTQ plus anime to talk about because, thankfully, I got a lot of requests, which was nice. Last year, didn't get as many as I would like. This year, people heard the desperation in my voice.
All right, so we should be getting some nice, high-quality bullshit.
Man, the amount of requests for bad gay anime is super high as well, Rem.
Seems unnecessary.
Does it? Why would you say that, buddy?
You know, I've always said that good representation is by the exclusively good things.
Exclusively good things. Yeah.
And none of the bad ever.
None of the bad ever, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
But Rem, where's the fun in that? I will say it is very comical. Like, by and
But
large,
surely you can't start Pride Month with a trad.
has that stopped me in the past? I mean, both.
I'm gonna say it'll set a tone.
Both purposefully and accidentally, I will say.
Yes.
Like some shows I've started with Pride Month that you've just did not vibe with, but came highly recommended and beloved. Then others I've been like, hey, this is garbage, and we're gonna start off with the garbage so we can enjoy the good stuff later. And you have been hypercritical of how I started Pride Month, like almost every single year since we've started regularly doing Pride Month episodes. And I don't take kindly to that, if I'm being honest. It hurts my feelings.
Hopefully you've chosen something I can't be critical of.
Something you can't be critical of, Rem?
Yeah!
There's nothing in this world you can't be critical of, Rem. You judge my orders at breakfast places.
Just show me a gay anime that's like so divinely transcendent that criticisms are impossible.
Yeah. Why don't you do that for me during April Fools? Why haven't you done something like that for me?
Because I don't want to.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm sensing a little bit of a double standard here, buddy boy. But no, I have taken into consideration the fact that anytime our Pride Month season starts and I pick an anime that is either not to your high quality standards or is purposefully bad, you bitch about it the whole month.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make it impossible for you to bitch about anything.
All right, let's go.
Because you're going to decide how we start Pride Month.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yep. But I'm going to make it clear and easy for you, Rem, because you're going to know both the options fully.
Okay.
Like this is my extending of an olive branch. This is an extension of goodwill to start this Pride Month off right.
Okay.
Because, Rem, not only are you going to fully know the options, you've seen both of them.
Holy shit.
In fact, all three of them you've seen.
3. All right.
Yes.
Let's hear the options. Let's hear the contenders.
So, Rem, one might already be pretty obvious. It is the softest in terms of queer representation, but sometimes
Polar Bear Cafe, revisiting that just week to week.
Yeah, until we get through all 50 episodes. This is a Polar Bear Cafe podcast now.
You know, the queer themes, they were subtle, but they were there.
They were there. I mean, look, you don't get to be a polar bear owning a cafe if you're, like, completely straight. No. The general, I have 3 revisits lined up for you, Rem.
All right.
The first one in mind was, of course, something that I mentioned a few months ago that both you and I really enjoyed, Journal with Witch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because there is a side character who is struggling with coming to terms with the fact that she doesn't really like boys all that much.
Cool.
You know? And not to mention, like, it's not a main focus, but it is enough of a focus that it could be a very nice, easy way to lean into Pride Month. And I got like 5 or 6 emails saying like, yeah, we'd be cool if you starting with Journal to Witch or coming back in Pride Month because we think it's a great show and we want to hear you talk more about it. And I'm like, that's all I need. I can put it in the lineup.
Strong candidate there.
Yep. Second up is one of the first queer anime we covered that you really enjoyed, that being Yuri on Ice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We got a lot of requests to revisit it since it has been half a decade since we talked about it.
Yeah.
People wanted you to finish out the season because it is wildly beloved. And, people are a little salty because there was a movie that got canceled for Yuri on Ice recently. So people, it was canceled around 2020, I believe, is essentially what the case was. Or somewhere between 2020 and 2024, give or take there. The point is, the Yuri on Ice movie got canceled, and people were very sad about that. So,
understandable.
A chance to go back and revisit it and see all the things that you rated positively about it, and also being one of the only sports anime you rated positively in general.
It's true.
A chance to go back and relive that. And finally, of course, finishing off the first season of the Summer Hikaru.
Ooh.
So I've given you 3, I would argue, banger options that is a great way to start off Pride Month with our best foot forward and to lessen the blow of what may or may not come for the rest of the month.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, I thought it would be. But
this is possibly the hardest choice you've ever given me on the podcast.
Yeah, I've given you all the information you need. They're all really good options. And depending on what you watch and how you feel about it at the end, because regardless, we're finishing a season today.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Both are about 12 to 13 episode seasons, so length doesn't really make a difference. You've watched 5 episodes, I believe, of each one, give or take. And I watching the remaining 7 or 8 of them is more than doable. They're all wildly different in terms of genre, tone, and the kinds of stories they're telling.
Oh yeah.
And ultimately, we all it's going to be fascinating to see. One we've covered incredibly recently, one we covered last year, and one we covered over 5 years ago. So it's how are you going to balance this decision? And what, most importantly, which revisit do you think will be the most interesting for us to both talk about and for people to listen to and want to hear about?
All right, here's my thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going to eliminate one, which is not easy, because, I'd be happy with any of these 3. I'm going to eliminate Yuri on Ice.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to eliminate that one.
What's your reasoning?
Twofold. Keeping in mind, we got to be splitting some hairs here, all right?
Yep.
With this one, because it was a while ago, I would need to refresh myself to a greater degree. And so that's just a bit more work. And then 2, the sub-theme of sports. The others, while there's a deep humanity running throughout all of these, the other 2 have stronger sub-themes for what I care about.
Okay.
So
fuck the ice skaters is what you're saying. It's not even named right. It's supposed to be Yaoi on Ice, not Yuri on Ice.
It's one that I'd love to revisit, but I gotta cut it out. And then I think I have my decision locked in.
Okay.
2 more reasons to make this choice between Hikaru and Journal. 1, we've covered one more recently, and 2, one of them is a more out-and-out mystery, and so I think it would be better to resolve that a little bit more, right? It feels more pressing for a mystery to be solved, and thus I'm going with the Summer Hikaru Died, but god damn, this is a hard choice.
I purposely made it so. It's rare for you to get a hard choice that you know everything about and is a entirely positive choice.
It's true.
Because, man, oh man. And yeah, last year when we covered Summer Hikaru Died, it was right after Pride Month finished because that's when it started airing.
Yeah.
And it's well, shit, this is good enough that I want to talk about it outside of Pride Month. And now, hey, this is a chance for us to go back in proper Pride Month, see how it finishes for the good or for the bad, just to give a full, rounded, complete opinion on how you feel about...
I remember it's queer, mysterious body horror.
And toxic as hell.
Toxic as hell, but at the same time, it's that kind where it's there's a certain element of hyper dependency where it's oh man, this is such pure love, but it is also such unhealthy love.
Yep.
And just shit like that. It was doing a lot, and I'm interested in revisiting that.
Yep, and it is confirmed for a second season as well. We don't have an exact release date yet, But the first season did well enough that people were able to be like, hey, more please, gimme. I want my more toxic yaoi mixed with eldritch monstrosity body horrors and the feel of raw chicken.
Yeah, I forgot about the raw chicken. I forgot about that.
I mean, hey, it's kind of hard to forget about it in my case.
Yeah.
I just rewatched it, so it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not an allegory for, intercourse or anything.
No, of course not.
No, definitely not like a toxic allegory for that at all. Oh, man. But yeah, so going back to the Summer Hikaru Died, tell me, Rem, what do you remember about the show specifically that you're looking for and what you're hoping for?
Oh, no, my friend went missing. Oh, hey, they found him. Hey, wait a minute. You're not my friend. Cosmic entity, I'll be your friend. I just want you to love me. It's like, maybe this is all right. Maybe.
And
maybe
we as the audience are like,
deal.
No, this isn't all right. This is really fucking bad, actually.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's like, I don't know, maybe if I maybe in a way it's kind of okay. And the audience is like, I don't know if it is kind of okay. And they're both just vulnerable to one another. And you're like, it does seem they both need something. I don't know if this is what they need. Mm-hmm. I agree that they both need something, and they're finding it in the other. But I don't think the other is necessarily what they need.
Yeah.
And just toxic, possessive strangeness, eldritch representations of sex. Yeah, that's the gist of what I remember.
Okay, perfect. Anything you're hoping to see in the remaining half of the season that we have to cover?
Biblically accurate angel.
No spoilers now, Red. We can't go spoiling things right away. But yeah, no, I am...
I'd argue it's theoretically within the realm of possibilities with one of the eldritch sex scenes.
I mean, yeah, hey, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that things are a little bit, things are a little bit up in the air for you right now. And, we'll just have to see what you ultimately think by the end of it. Will you come back just as positive before? Will you have more positive opinions or less positive opinions? It's hard to tell with you and finishing seasons of shows. But generally speaking, I think this is a great way to start Pride Month with the toxicity a lot of BL anime are known for, but, with like actual purpose to the toxicity rather than just
it's like deliberate and it knows.
Yeah, like weird non-consensual stuff
it's not creepy and toxic in a way where it's like, but isn't it kind of hot though? It's creepy and toxic and it's like, yeah, isn't this a lot?
Yeah. And I mean, if you do find that kind of thought hot, it's like, well, man, you got some self-reflection is important.
Yeah, and hey, you can go buy some chicken at the grocery store.
There are safer options. Please don't choose some safer options, please. Flared bases and all. At any rate, let's just go straight into it.
What if I had raw chicken, but it had a flared base?
It does feel like if that is what you're going for, it's like, oh man, I always learned that if it has a flared base, it doesn't go anywhere. So as long as it has a flared base, automatically means that makes everything better. Yeah, that's the one safety precaution. It's like, oh man, this bit of glass, like, it's sharp and broken, but it has a flared base, so it can't be that bad. It doesn't feel like there's an equivalence there, Oh man.
Oh my god.
And before we get into it, if you're Pride Month is still early on. If you're wanting something more specific, please keep sending those emails, because if it doesn't happen this year, it could always happen next year or anytime during the year, because I'm not exclusively covering queer stuff during Pride Month. It's just when we put extra focus on it, because obviously.
Hell yeah.
All right, without further ado, let's go and finish the first season of The Summer Hikaru Died. And we are back after finishing the entirety of the first season of the hit 2025 anime, Karu ga Shinda Natsu, or The Summer Hikaru Died. And tell me, Rem, Did you get more of that toxic yaoi that you were hoping for, or is the mystery not quite what you were hoping to explore?
Well, I mean, honestly, that is your question. Rarely does it hit on the crux of the issue, but this time it actually did.
Yeah.
In multiple ways. Namely, not really and unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, all right, okay. This is going to be a little bit of a downer. Not a huge. There's still good things.
Okay.
There's still
right.
some amazing things.
Yeah. I mean, look, man. I gave you the choices of what you wanted to revisit.
The first half of this show is transcendent. The latter half of this show isn't. Let me put it this way. In my notes, I have for this batch of episodes that, well, obviously this is one of the best shows we've ever covered, and then later on, oh no, is it bad? Question mark.
Oh god.
So I went on a journey, my guy.
Yes, you did. Oh dear. Oh man. We're starting.
It's not a journey I wanted to go on. It's not a journey I wanted to be a part of.
It was a journey that people didn't think you would go on, my guy. People wanted us to revisit this basically immediately after we started watching it. So, you know.
Somebody threw me on their unfinished roller coaster tycoon ride, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Ooh, another loop-de-loop. And then the track just ends, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So let's get into my surprisingly complicated feelings about this show.
All right. Love that I can't get away with starting Pride Month in a way that doesn't have any kind of controversy whatsoever.
So, for those who may not remember, we had good old toxic yaoi, and Hikaru was eating up a bunch of demons that were trying to go after Yoshiki, figuring out what the hell's going on, etc., right? So episode 6, there's a sleepover with the group of friends. They're all having a good time, good old coming of age shenanigans. But eventually, Hikaru and what's her fucking name? It's a symptom of a greater problem, I assure you, that I don't know her name. It's Asako.
Yep.
Who's sort of like the tomboy of the group, right? And turns out she also has some latent psychic powers. Her whole family does, and she has psychic hearing powers. And so she's like, hey, so what's going on with you? Because some weird, sketchy shit's going on, and I'm aware. And Hikaru's like, shit, gotta kill her. And so he goes, gets ready to kill her, but then Yoshiki shows up and is like, what the fuck? And it's a compelling, interesting moment. Asako, her hearing is damaged, and her sort of psychic link is damaged. A very dramatic scene that ultimately means nothing. It feels like, and at the moment, it feels very meaningful, especially because it feels like there's so many ways to go from here, right?
Right.
But all those paths are dropped. So in the moment, I loved this scene. Looking back at it, I'm like, what are we doing again? And it's like, I guess so Yoshiki can sort of chastise Hikaru, not in any intense way, but sort of chastise him, be like, what the hell? Don't do that. Don't kill friends. And he's like, okay, I won't. And so there's like a little bit there, but Asako and the other friends largely drop out of the narrative at this point and aren't really relevant again. Like, they've been kind of background, but relevant background characters up to this stage. And obviously now, here we have an episode that sort of focuses on the group, on the gang. There's some interesting, fun little interpersonal details thrown in there that are just nice touches. Even though they're not the focus, it's nice to see. And of course, we have the big dramatic confrontation. So it feels like even though they're side characters, they're at least sufficiently relevant. But it's after this moment, the moment that most dramatically brings them in, that they're largely ignored afterwards. And that is a strange choice.
Yes.
It is an odd choice, to say the least.
Yeah, I haven't read ahead. I've only seen the first season as well, so I don't know if there's like more relevance post first season, but it definitely is a little bit of a unfortunate decision. That
the absolute best case scenario is that it's a really bad pacing and structural issue.
Yes.
that is the best. The worst case scenario is just that, like, shit doesn't matter. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario still isn't a good case scenario, but
right.
There are ways to make it slightly better, but I don't think there are ways to make it good with how it's been handled with this specific point, and this specific like plot point and structure. So then we have episode 7. It's the school choir competition. It's been built up in the background, but Yoshiki and Hikaru, they skip school together and have a lovely fun day together. And then at the very end, it's this big old twist where he just wants Hikaru to have a nice final memory as Yoshiki goes to fucking stab the bitch. Nice and dramatic and crazy and fucked, right? Hikaru's like, what the hell you doing, bud? Like bleeding all over, but not dying because he's a strange creature. And Yoshiki's like, oh, fuck, I don't know, man.
That's how I respond whenever I stab somebody. I stab somebody, they're like, hey, why'd you do that? It's like, man, I don't know. Complex feelings.
It seemed like an okay idea at the time, and now it really doesn't seem like it was
yeah, now that the big scary Eldritch monster that didn't kill the big Eldritch scary monster, man, I made a mistake, man. Can you forgive me?
And he is forgiven. And then even Hikaru's like, okay, I see that you're a bit worried about me, so here, he rips out a chunk of himself, basically, Hikaru does, and is like, have this formed into a bone. And that is gonna cut off a significant amount of my power. I'll be weaker, I'll be less dangerous, etc. All right, so interesting elements here. Once again, I liked this scene at the time. I hate to inform y'all, it's handled disappointingly from this point forward. This one is touched on a couple times, but honestly, in ways that are actively disappointing. It at no point matters that he is weaker. Or less dangerous. And then later, he'll get decapitated, and it'll be implied that made him weaker still. But also that doesn't matter because we're not showing off any of this power. And then Yoshiki even offers to give him back the little bone shard to re-up the strength, which could be assigned as like vulnerable trust. Like, I recognize this will make you stronger, but also more threatening and more dangerous. But because I trust you for valid reasons or otherwise, I'm going to give it to you. And it could just be like one of those things where you're like, oh, it's a sign of their bond, but also a sign of questionable decisions by Yoshiki, right? That's where it should be. But instead, it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't seem that relevant, honestly. Like, it should be a really meaningful moment later when this comes back, and it isn't that, because unfortunately, him being weaker is never relevant, even a little bit. Okay, I think maybe a tiny bit. I think there's one scene, I think there's a diner scene that comes later in which it might be slightly relevant. But even then, it's only slightly. So, not ideal, but once again, in the moment, this worked. Episode 8 and onward is where it starts to really fall apart. And that's because, so, look, this is a gay horror mystery show. And it's like, I'm fucking there, baby. You throw those elements. And it has great, like, coming of age elements, great horror elements. Now we start really focusing on the mystery. And I think the mystery is bad. Which, it was a very intriguing mystery, right? Sort of like, what is Hikaru? How did the real Hikaru die? What's going on with the village? And what's the lore of the village? What's the secret of Hikaru's family? Those are all the main mysteries.
Right.
And they're intriguing questions. Episodes 8 and onward, we're going to get the answer to almost all of those questions through so much exposition. So much exposition. It's not that characters are like connecting threads, finding interesting connections. They'll usually just find another character who's like, oh, yeah, here, sit down. Pop a squat.
I have all the answers.
About it. Yeah. And then they just go, and unfortunately also, the exposition just isn't like that interesting, because it's like, oh yeah, let me tell you all about the town. Let me give you the deep town lore and our troubled history. And there's like bits and pieces that are kind of neat, right? Offering heads for wishes and shit. But there's just so much, and there's not like a meaningful connecting thread. There's no way for me to give like an elegant explanation to our listeners right now. Let me put it that way, right? If I were to begin to explain it, then it would just be like, Okay, and then here's the thing. I would give a big, long-winded explanation of so much shit that, if I'm understanding correctly, may not matter? It's implied that... It's implied or outright said... I'm sorry, there's a lot of exposition, so it's hard for me to sort shit out.
They cram a lot
said.
into these last 4 episodes, essentially.
It's implied, if not outright said, that lore ain't it, fam. And, like, they're like, oh, and Hikaru is the cosmic deity of the mountain that grants the wishes for the heads, but evidently maybe he's not, because maybe such an entity doesn't exist, and maybe he's something else, in which case, I'll be honest, I don't know if the author even has a satisfying answer for what Hikaru is, other than just, like, vague body horror cosmic entity. At one point, there's a big deal that Yoshiki finds in a book an image of Gehenna, and it is the sort of, like, cosmic goo that Hikaru's made out of. And that's treated like a big reveal, but never touched on again. It's... There's just so much... Especially, the worst culprit out of the episodes is episode 9, which is, I hate to say it, just a bad episode. That one, I think it's episode 9, let me double check. Oh, maybe, it might have been episode 10. Episode 10, actually, where it's just all, like, we're running low on episodes, right?
Yeah.
We're running low on episodes. And it's just all backloaded exposition. It's like, no, you want to front load the exposition, if anything. And then, like, the things we discover later on, especially in a mystery, we should conclude them. We shouldn't be informed them, right?
Right.
The nature of a mystery isn't the detective looking around everywhere and then at the last moment someone's like, oh shit, you want all the answers? Here they are. And it's like, oh, no, we wanted to, like, find clues and deduce things and be like, oh, and so that's how that explains that and that. But then, oh, and thus we can infer that must mean this. Oh, right. It's not a great mystery when it's just holding back information and then revealing all of the information.
Yes.
And that's unfortunately the strategy it takes, and I don't know why, because it had such a good tone and it was really interesting and compelling, and then it just becomes a bit of a muddled mess. Not only that, but by doing it this way, we lose focus of the human element, the coming of age, the toxic relationship, all of those things. We put that on pause for multiple episodes so that we can hear endless droning about the town. And it's like, if you had just given me the gist of it, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's nice and fucked. But it's like, no, you need to know the details. You need to know the details. Which, once again, the details may not even matter. Like, to continue with the analogy, the detective, he hasn't found many clues. He's like, what's going on? And then somebody's like, oh, here's everything that's going on. It's like, oh, okay, sure. Not a satisfying way to get that. But then somebody else just pops up and is like, yeah, but they think that's what's going on, but actually it's not. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? Why did I?
Yeah.
Why did I spend so much time with all that exposition then? Could you at least have made the potentially false exposition briefer?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like set up for like some of it is true, and the false parts aren't the interesting parts.
But even then you'd still want it to be at least simpler. So then, when going through and being like, hey, like later on, if they're like, hey, these parts are the true parts, but these parts are the false bits, what should be the reaction is, oh, so that actually means blank, right? But instead you're like, oh shit, so, fuck, so the original story had all these elements, and so, okay, so those ones are the real ones. And then there was this, oh wait, but no, that bit is a false bit. It's too stuck in the weeds.
Yeah.
So that's not ideal by any means. And I think that there's actually kind of an easy solution to a lot of this, Shaun.
Yeah, and what's that, Rem?
Yoshiki, and thus Hikaru, they shouldn't be solving the mystery. You just have them being toxic together, right?
Right.
And getting more toxic, if anything. And meanwhile, the exorcist fella with the hamster who shows up and it's less relevant than you think.
Yep.
Considering at one point he decapitates Hikaru.
Yep.
And then you don't get to see the aftermath of that. He decapitates him, they put him back, and then I guess they just leave. They don't show the rest of that scene. They're just like, went their separate ways, I guess. He's less relevant than you think, considering he does a lot of very relevant things. have him be the one solving shit, right? So he's a stranger in a strange land. He's asking questions. He's figuring it out. Let him be a proper little detective, right?
And just let the mystery around our two toxic leads kind of just fall into place because of it.
Yeah, and meanwhile, with our leads, just let them be what I want is basically a bit more of a Death Note dynamic here, all right, but a little bit less intentional. So in this case, Light Yagami, that would be played by our toxic boys, our lovely toxic body horror boys, and they're less even like trying to, at least for a large chunk of it, like avoid detection from the investigator because they wouldn't even know he's investigating, and then when they learn, maybe they can be alarmed. But instead, it would mostly just be like them falling into this codependent trap. And now we can actually talk about another gripe, and that is the toxic relationship. Shaun, the show doesn't realize it's toxic, which is crazy to me.
That can't be right, right?
It feels like it can't, because like the first 5 episodes, first 6 episodes, first 7, it's like, wow, this is such a compelling display of a highly toxic but still sympathetic relationship, right? One in that you're like, they shouldn't be together at all, but man, there's like genuine things there, and it's all tangled and nasty and awful and fucked, but a part of me wants it to happen, even though I also, like, my heart wants the couple to happen, while my head is like, oh god, no, right? And they do that so well. But basically, every character they come across, instead of the dynamic you'd think would happen, which is more or less, even the ones who figure out about Hikaru being like, what the hell? Burn the witch! Like, some shit like that, right? It's instead like, oh, poor baby. Oh, poor darling baby. Oh no. And they show just an insane amount of sympathy towards it. So it's like, okay, so they're not really an outsider at all. So that's one level. But then there's never really any like come to Jesus moments about that. Even later, when it seems like Yoshiki is coming to the very mild realization that like it's a bit selfish for him to want Hikaru. Actually, the selfish part of him seemed to be encouraging him to let go of Hikaru, implying that being together was the selfless thing. It's muddled and confused, to say the least. I think the show believes the relationship may have started out a bit toxic, but then they got it under control. Which, first of all, weird story if that's the case, where it's just like the most toxic shit you can imagine that then resolves into, like, very quickly, turns out how you fix a toxic relationship is just by like asking, hey, don't kill, and it'll be like, oh shucks, okay, I won't, and now we're all good. Like, and that'll cure any time. But like, if it feels unjustified, unwarranted, there's not enough build for it to be detoxified. Nor, frankly, is there enough of the actual romance there. Like, end in a kiss, you fucking cowards, you fucking cowards. Even if, and this would make it delightfully more toxic, have it be that Hikaru is like codependent, even though he doesn't know what love is, but he's like, this is what Yoshiki understands as love.
Yeah.
So I'll give him what he wants so that he stays around me, because I like when he stays around me. And in that element, you'd be like, look, in one part, I get it. And I guess you're both getting what you want. On the other part, that's kind of gross. Like, have that be there. But it's not. The story doesn't seem to realize there's a toxic relationship there. It seems to fuck up the mystery. It forgets so many characters and drops so many threads for like long periods of time. But if instead you had the mystery on one side with the exorcist detective, right? And kind of building tension, you have to keep it just very toxic relationship. In fact, growing more toxic. It starts out sympathetic, and we want to put the audience in the role of an abusive relationship a little bit here, right? Where we want them to go from being like, oh, but they are sympathetic and I do want them to work out, to being like, oh god, I don't know if I can root for them anymore. But then you suck them back in, right? You want that push and the pull element there, but for the relationship as a whole. So you have that going on. Meanwhile, the exorcist detective, he's learning more, and thus we're learning more, and he's also getting closer to the root of it. And we vacillate between being like, on one hand, it's for the best that the exorcist discovers what's going on and like ends this likely violently. But on the other hand, you're like, but I don't want the relationship to be. I want the boys to find a way out of this, right? And that would be a great narrative experience. And it would fix so many of the problems while emphasizing so many of the genuinely strong elements of this show. It kind of baffles me that this show fucks it up as much as it does, because there's so many dramatic, big moments that in the moment feel incredible, but then it doesn't want to handle the inevitable consequences of those, so they're kind of just shrugged off. Holy shit, Hikaru just got decapitated. Okay, and then his head gets put on, he's got a little seam there, and the exorcist just kind of goes away, and he's like, oh, I found Hikaru, and then it doesn't really do much. Okay. Oh shit, Yoshiki just stabbed Hikaru. Okay, well, Hikaru, he feels a little bad about that, but, he'll give Yoshiki a part of himself, but that will weaken him. But that's fine. That's not actually super relevant. Oh shit, Hikaru has been found out by one of their close friends. Yeah, but it's stepped in. Nobody gets killed or anything. There's no severe consequences. And even the girl later on, when it is confirmed, is like, yeah, don't worry, I won't tell anybody or anything. So, so we have great moments that the show, every single goddamn time, doesn't want to reckon with. And that's so frustrating. It's so frustrating for a show to understand the moments it should have and be like, oh, great, brilliant. But it doesn't understand consequences, which are just as important as the moments themselves. Because without any consequences at any time, you end up just feeling like, oh, I guess the big moments are never quite as big as I think they might be. It's similar to what happened to The Boys. The Boys as a franchise. It starts out, it's like, hey, here's some heavy hitting big old moments, and initially there are some consequences, and you're like, god damn, and then just as it goes on, big moments without meaningful consequences, and it's like, oh shit, is somebody important gonna die? No. Is it gonna happen now? No. And you can only tease your audience so much with that before eventually they realize, oh, I never need to feel the tension that the show thinks it's making me feel, because it's never going to follow through, or at least very rarely. And that's so extraordinarily disappointing. And we learn about the family sin, and it's kind of just whatever. It's just in the big category of town lore. And there's just not, the mystery isn't interesting. It's not elegant, and it's certainly not handled in a compelling way. The toxic boy love is radically mishandled, so where the show is nervous for it to be toxic and frankly a little nervous for it to be boy love, and the horror is pretty good. They reduced the stakes on it too many times, and there should be a few more corpses at the end of this season. Because the killing, let me put it this way, the killing, I saw almost all of the killing on my last watch of it. There was very little killing in this batch of episodes.
Yes.
Which isn't how you want to shape a season. If anything, even if you contain it in the middle bit, right? You want there to be a bit of an explosion.
Right.
Bit of an uncontrolled bit, but every time it's like, Hikaru, can he control himself? And it's like, whoa, yeah, he can. Oh, but can he now? Yeah, he lost it for a moment, but he's there. And it's disappointing. Like, visually, it's stunning. I love when it blends real images with the anime styling. That's very unique. The colors obviously are stunning. The body horror shit is great. But narratively and writing-wise, god damn, this show falls off.
And it's hard to say where it goes from this point, Rem, because at the time of this recording, the adaptation you watched was about 24 to 25, 26, somewhere in that range, chapters of the manga that was adapted, which is a pretty good ratio. But at the same time, it does feel like with the way they paced this season and how they displayed all the information in front of us, it doesn't seem like they were really anticipating getting that second season, if that makes sense. And that, I definitely noticed a lot of the same issues you did by the time I finished the show the first time around. And at the time of this recording, there are twice as many chapters. There's just shy of 50 chapters, I think, somewhere in that range. So for all we know, there could be a lot of the issues that you have with these remaining, 6 episodes could be...
Is the manga still ongoing?
It is.
Let me put it this way. This story, more than most, feels like it needs an end. For so many reasons. For so many reasons, it feels like it really needs an end. It also feels like prolonging the end in any degree actively harms this more than it would harm most other stories. So that makes me a bit nervous, bit less confident that things would switch into gear, as it were.
Yep. And who knows? Like, a lot of manga end way before they get to the 100 chapter mark. Like, that's just pretty standard.
Yeah.
And with how popular this show and manga is, and how highly regarded it is, even before it got the anime adaptation, it could just rapidly improve. And maybe we just got into like a bit of an awkward little exposition point right at the end of its first major season, which doesn't do great things for motivating people to watch the next season of the anime.
And especially, it's not just that there's a bunch of poorly done exposition, and the exposition isn't particularly interesting. It's the fact that, one, it gives the answers to many of the important questions that we had, and so those aren't answered in a satisfying way. Two, it's done in such a way that sidelines the more compelling bits for a long time, that then when we revisit them, there's a moment where Hikaru is crying in front of the medium woman, right? And breaking down because he's recognizing his own monstrosity, right? Which is a fine moment, but it's like, we also saw that in like episode 2 or 3, basically for the same reasons, and nothing has really changed between those moments. And so there's not a sense of growth or progression in any meaningful degree. And it just wants everyone to be a hero, and it wants this story to be a happy one. That's the only way I can describe it. The show wants to yank it in to a happier narrative, and I'm like, with all due respect, this shit needs to be kind of bleak. Like, with a dash of hope, there should be a tiny core bit of toxic hope in there where you're like, there is some genuine love there, and that's, I do appreciate and admire that. But, oh, fuck. Right, that's what this kind of story should be leaving you with. This is not a hopeful story, and trying to contort it into a happy little story where characters don't need to be toxic, and they don't even really need to argue. Even the other characters who you think might antagonize Hikaru, like the Exorcist or the Medium, no, they're fine. They're all fine and dandy. The friend, the girl who's in their friend group, yeah, she's fine and dandy when she confronts him. She's even like, oh yeah, I've lost hearing in one ear and lost touch with my family's powers that are deeply rooted. Yeah, it happens. It happens. And it's like, no, we need... You can't take the bleak, awful actions and then have happy-go-lucky conclusions like, la-di-da, we can all get along. That's not the show you have presented. You've presented a show where it's like, oh shit, this is fucked. Oh my god, how fucked. And then you're like, hey, but it's all okay, actually. And you're like, why? And it's like, I mean, look, it's all okay. And you're like, you're not doing enough to convince me of that.
Yeah, it's rough. Overall, I still think the series is well worth watching and is a good experience. But once you get to that back half and you start to notice some of the inconsistencies, it doesn't really quite stack up to that first half of the season, does it?
Nowhere close. Genuinely, it is crazy to me that, go back to those 2 notes that I read. Obviously, this is one of the best shows we have ever covered. Not just that it is, but obviously so.
Right.
Obviously so.
Right.
To wait, is this bad? It's a crazy arc to go on.
Oh, man.
I'm heartbroken, is what I'm saying. I'm heartbroken because it could have been everything I ever wanted. And in moments it was, but then it shat the bed in such a way where not only is the back half bad, but then the front end, a lot of the things I thought were good because I assumed that they were going somewhere. Now I have to be like, oh, it wasn't really that good, was it? Oh, no.
Well, we don't know for certain, Rem. We don't know. There's still more story to be told. Sometimes stories just have really bad pacing decisions. Sometimes they have a framework that just doesn't really work in the way that we were hoping it. But then you get into more of the story, and then more of that value that you originally loved from the initial story comes through more clearly. Maybe that'll happen, Rem. I don't know, because I haven't read past this first season. But I do know that a second season is on the way. It was basically announced the first season ended. And with how popular the series and franchise is, there has to be some form of like basis for the people who have only read the series that are still with it to this day that, makes it well worthwhile in the long run. It's a little hard to see at this point from what we have seen so far, whether or not it can recover from the stumbling pace that it's gotten to and go back to some of the things that we actually love and enjoyed about the series. I do not know, Rem, and I'll happily let you know if and when that second season comes out, and I have to watch it because I have to watch everything these days. And if I think it's worth revisiting in a way that will maybe change your opinion, or at the very least be funny.
Oh, it is crazy. I never would have predicted that this would stand as one of my greatest disappointments of the podcast. It's not that it's one of the worst shows we've covered, but
nowhere near.
The drop is one of the biggest drops that we've covered. Because it was so high. It was so high for me. Once again, it was contending for the GOAT spot, right? It was contending for this is the best thing we've ever covered, man. Oh, fuck.
Oh, hey, you still have Odd Taxi, man.
I do still have Odd Taxi. Oh, I hold Odd Taxi close to me.
Yeah, and Odd Taxi is like...
Odd Taxi fucking... I thought this was going to be joined where it's just like, oh yeah, that's one of the ones I recommend. Odd Taxi, Place for the Universe.
Yep.
Summer Hikaru Died. And it's like, nope. No, unfortunately not.
But for a lot of people, Rem, Summer Hikaru Died does still fill that spot, even though... both your and my opinions of it definitely kind of took a bit of a downward tilt near the back half of the season.
I think if you really squint in the back half, then it's still an amazing show. if you really squint, then you're like, yeah, I can.
Your body is fighting against what your mind is telling you, Rem.
Yeah.
Like you that logical part of your brain that is super analytical about stories is not contending with the emotional part of your body, and that is a problem. Because man, oh man, do people still love and rave and talk about this show even after finishing the first season. We covered it I want to say right before the first season ended, if I remember correctly, because it started airing right after Pride Month ended for us last year.
Yeah,
and I think I jumped onto it pretty quick because I was super into it.
Oh, yeah!
And coming back to it now, after having finished it, it's like, ooh, there's going to be some things that Mr. Remington is going to point out and have way stronger feelings about than I do. This is going to be interesting to see how this turns out. But, it's still important to observe these things because while it's a little rough for you and me specifically, I'd still recommend the show to anybody who's curious about this kind of thing, who likes, queer identity and horror and a little bit of those themes that, we initially came into the show loving. It's just, if that's the only thing you want out of it, you're probably not going to be super satisfied for the whole run of the first season.
Yeah, if we cherry pick, the show has some incredible shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think sort of holistically is where it really falls apart. But if we're selective in what we get, especially, and view it in that light, and if somebody is able to do that and sort of compartmentalize, hopefully knowingly. I know plenty of the weebs love to compartmentalize, but
not in the way that is super constructive.
But compartmentalize, you're like, oh, okay, these elements, they are incredible. They are very strong. They are very interesting. They're very powerful, very evocative, right? The coming of age elements mixed with the toxic relationship, mixed with some really good horror, you do get all of that. It's just, if you zoom out a little bit more, it may not be all you get.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, I'm just curious to see where the story goes from here. I may pick up reading where the anime left off just so I can have a little bit of a head start, just to kind of get a vibe of what's going on, because I want this to recover. I want this to...
I want it to recover, but it has banished most of my curiosity about it, which is tragic.
And see, I'm always willing to go a lot farther to...
Well, especially if it feels like it's covered just about all of, like, the big important mysteries, and now it's just, like, in the weeds with the minutia.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I think we can all agree that, like, the minutia details are the less compelling parts of mysteries. Like, yeah, we'll take them, and they can be interesting. But you need some of the heavy hitters.
Right.
To show up. Whereas I feel like this will be like, so you want to know more about the company? And I'm like, I guess. Like shit like that, where I was like, I guess if you want to tell me about it, then I guess I can learn more. It's not one of the things I was like really invested in, but if you want to talk about it, like shit like that, where it's fine. It's just not one of the selling point mysteries. And right now, I don't feel like we're really left with any selling point mysteries besides, I guess, how exactly Hikaru died. I'm skeptical. I don't know if it's interested in exploring that, but I think that's the only mystery that like is a heavy hitter that's still on the table. But yeah, it's a complicated show. It had some transcendently good moments and lots that it fumbles the bag.
Well, and the only way to really know for certain if you agree with Remington is to go and give it a watch yourself. I still think it's worth watching, personally. It's just, man oh man, watching poor Remington tumble from the highest of heights can be a little bit traumatic.
I think it's worth watching if you are a viewer who can like watch a thing and be like, okay, this is very flawed, but here's what I can take from that, right?
Yes.
Because there's some striking images, some striking moments that will linger. And so if you're the type of viewer who is down for that kind of experience, and but there'll be many other viewers who are like, nah, I view things just like as they are holistically, which isn't the wrong way to do it by any means. If anything, I'm more towards a bits and piece type viewer. It's why I like anthologies so much, because I'm like, with every little story or short film, I'm like, I can usually take something interesting out of it.
Also, your commitment issues of avoiding anything that's longer than 2 hours.
And if you're wondering Shaun's length, ladies, 2 hours. His dick is 2 hours long.
I don't know what that means, but
both barrels an hour apiece. You try to figure out what the fuck that means, listeners.
Oh God. Well, Rem, we've covered basically how you're feeling, which is, disappointed, which I had a feeling you would be. But hey, that's sometimes we make decisions, we pick shows, and they're not everything that we want them to be. That's the nature of it. But what do the weebs think? So it's been just under a year since Hikaru died, like 10 months or so, 9 months, something like that. And it's finished since we recovered it as well. So how do you think the score has changed or settled, Rem?
I wish. Normally I go back and listen to our episodes on these, and if I did, then I would have had the advantage of what it was. But that didn't happen. So instead, theoretically, look into my heart and soul. What do I think it used to be? And then calibrate from there. All right. I'm going to talk out my ass.
Hey, bud, we've been doing that for years.
I think it used to be, when we first reviewed it, maybe like an 8.3 or some shit.
Okay.
And I think since, it has gone down a bit, but is still quite hot. It's lost the new hotness, but it's still up there. I think it's above 8.
Yeah, it was one of the highest requested things we got in email for revisits.
8.05?
8.05. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at the time of this recording, The Summer Hikaru Died has 114,000 ratings on it, which a bit more than before, especially for a show that has very strong queer theming to it.
Yeah. I think also by now, like, a lot of the homophobes have stumbled into it without realizing.
Oh, yeah.
They heard the hype. They were like, oh, spooky. Hey, what the hell?
Is this an allegory for gay sex? I can't have that.
Chicken.
Can't have that in my anime. No. But with those 114,000 ratings, Summer Hikaru Died is sitting nice and pretty at 8.02.
Oh, so close. So close.
Very close. Yeah. Yeah. It's gone down a bit, as you imagine, but not like drastically, I would say. I can't remember the exact framing it was then, but generally speaking, as far as reviews for this show goes, it is like by and large positive across the board. But there are a good handful of like mixed feelings reviews that do kind of cut into like, hey, the back half of this are missing some of those moments that we really loved and cared about. Where are those? And
let me put it this way, Weebs, this way you'll have an understanding if it's for you. It starts out as something transcendently novel, and then halfway through, it becomes a mediocre anime. For many of you, that just means that it's good throughout, and there's just some parts that are better. For others, you'll hear it just becomes a mediocre anime, and you'll be like, oh, fuck no. If you're, like, as a floor, I think most of the weebs will be okay with that floor.
Yeah. God. It took me a minute to scroll to find the first not recommended review, and it is the most banal, stupid review ever. This is a cool and interesting story. It's a bit too gay for me, though.
Oh my, yeah, there we are.
I'm like, they did find it. Yeah, and that's a recent review as well. So you predicted the trajectory of the weebs out there who ew, love, I hate that, ew type of shit. And it's very funny that you predicted that exact thing. By and large, generally speaking, everybody latches on to the really strong core moments of the show and how it makes them feel emotionally. But once people start reviewing the more logical and technical aspects of things, the kinds of things that you get into the nitty-gritty of narrative structure and stories and consequences, that's when a lot of the mixed feeling reviews come out. Because a lot of these mixed feelings reviews are still rating them like 7 to 10, because they're like, I love this show. However, it's hard to recommend because there are some aspects of it that either aren't going to be for the person that's watching it or aren't going to satisfy in the same way.
It lands at a 5 out of 10 for me with like so many asterisks. It needs a lot of like footnotes and explaining, but I think
this isn't a Spirited Away versus Human Centipede situation. This is a hey man, the highs are high and the lows are low, and I have to explain them in detail. Here's like 2 hours worth of me talking about this show. You can listen to that and it'll help explain, because it'll be all night if I'm just here by myself re-explaining everything. That's essentially the situation you've locked yourself in. And I don't know, man. I'm going to try and remain hopeful. I'm going to say that there's going to be something in this show or in this story that will flip it back around to being the thing that we enjoy, or at least make whatever mysteries or whatever story they're trying to tell that much more compelling, or at the very least ends it in such a interesting and dramatic way that the ending will stick with you. Because, I mean, we all remember how Death Note ended, but can everybody remember the exact events of the second half of Death Note? Because I know Remington can't.
Hey man, but at least there's a fairly complete story. Yes. If you just chop that off.
It's true. Genuinely, if you
I think that unironically helps Death Note so fucking much.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you can fairly neatly slice the tumor off.
Yeah, well, and then just like latch on like those last like 4 episodes or so, just just to get things going.
You could just excise that shit.
It's like, who's this chocolate eating freak? Does he matter? Probably not.
Whereas, unfortunately, for something like this, the issues are a bit more intertwined and deeply rooted, which makes it a little bit more complex.
Yeah. Well, either way, I think I'll go and try and read more of it just so I can get some kind of continuation or closure. Because
fingers crossed.
I don't know. It'll be hard to tell. I hope I am proven correct in that there's something more. But even at the end of the day, I still think this is a fun show and it's worth watching. It just doesn't do everything perfectly, and that's a crying shame. But with that in mind, I guess the final question I do need to ask you, Rem, is there any chance you'd want to watch more of the Summer Hikaru Died?
There needs to be some vetting. I could be convinced. But I would need somebody to be like, hey, understandable concerns. great news. I need some.
And those somebodies have to be not me, is what you're saying.
Ideally, it doesn't come from a weeby source, but
well,
you know.
Come on, man. This isn't exactly a mainstream popular anime, my guy.
Right, it could come from you because you can agree that the first season is very flawed.
Yeah.
If someone is like, I thought season 1 was great, and hey, you should check out season 2 because it's also great. No, that's a meaningless recommendation, right? Mm-hmm. It would need to come from somebody being like, hey, I totally understand and see those criticisms, and they are resolved, right? It would need to be someone who gets the criticisms to then say that it gets better. Because if people are just like, hey, no, it's always great, including more, then
yeah, no,
chances are I'm not going to be convinced.
Like I said at the beginning of the second half, I kind of knew exactly what your thought process was going to be with.
Oh, fucking tragic.
But hey, that's a problem for future Remington to figure out. And like near future me when I start picking it up and reading it when I have the spare time. But with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Remington being on one of the worst roller coasters he's ever experienced, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to twitch.tv/AnimEighties, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/AnimEighties, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. And let me tell you, we've been recording a lot of bonus material for the end of the year April Fool's Super show, and fuck, dude.
Good stuff coming later in the year.
Definitions are different for good stuff, I think.
Oh, man. Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our Blame Bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls. We really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are coming apart at the seams with some cosmic juices. And on that list, we have Renmarin. Hi, Anime Pod Hajimaru, yo. I, Remington, really want to watch more sword art. Shaun, show Remington Steel Ball Run or else. Jujutsu Kaisen is my comfort show. Chuck Burnett, no one told me Corey in the house tier. And for some reason, they're all getting cut off early. Look, Patreon, it's weird sometimes, so have fun having everybody's name basically cut off.
Oh, that sucks. That really sucks.
Sometimes the formatting just gets wonk, and it just... We trudge ahead. Sean Rollins, are you single because none of your exes could... And then it gets cut off. Who knows? Who knows what the speculation could be?
Also, the idea of anybody in our audience speaking to any of my exes harrows me. Because Rem has met some of my exes, and that's...
I clicked on that one specifically, and, it's a very long name, but it has the words Erica Kirk Dakimakura, so you can fill in the blanks.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Griping. Crypt update, we got distracted. 3 hours, 0 out of 61 achievements. Little bitch boy Remington says, what? Matt wants to thank you all for being awesome. Tech Turtle, the wheel is rolling towards a Mirai Nikki revisit. How is Samantha doing? She's doing great, as always. Yeti has nothing to say. Boost your relationship to continue. I skipped the nerd shit to enjoy patron reads. It's so funny conceptually to me.
That they just like
feel like I fucking hate when you guys talk about anime, but man,
I love sexualizing that ginger guy. That's my favorite part.
If anything, you guys should be doing more patron reads. Cut out the anime bullshit.
I mean, the only way that's gonna happen is if we get more patrons. So.
I like how in your world, if we got like an insane amount of patrons where it's like an hour to read them, in your mind you're just like, well, gotta read them, instead of like figuring out any other way to manage things.
Yep.
Oh, fucking hell. It took a remarkable amount of restraint not to start, and we'll never know. I'm so sorry. I don't know why Patreon does this. Hopefully it'll be fixed by next week. We'll see. Yep. I don't think Mr. Chase should host Pride Month. And I don't know why. I don't know what I did. It's so mysterious. A grimoire that makes you last longer by 6.8%. Red Bill Rollins versus the Haliban basketball 1v1 win. Remington and Shaun are my favorite closeted Mormons. I'm halfway through my pregnancy. Caltherius. Ryan Moody. Week 50 of using my Patreon name to request code GEESE. And that's astonishingly almost exactly the character count that it is cutting off for this week. Sparcy. Sentenced to be a podcast host. What does Goon got to do with it? Shaun, show Remington code GEESE or I will start.
They'll start.
They will start. Dylan's voice makes me come. Jake Dent, Wolfire56, Leonard98, Lucky Stars, the King of Moe. Shaun, please put Rem in a jar. I'm getting bored of Judy. Should start an April Fool's episode right now. I can't believe I've made an account for this. Wes Kane, dear Dylan, Sleep Token is amazing. With love.
Hey, it's okay if you enjoy the band that is basically Deftones without any of the edge whatsoever, with incredibly droning and boring monotone vocals overlaid with such thick autotune you can taste it. It's okay to like bad things. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're an anime podcast.
Bento Kato, 48 worm on a strings for $8. Launch them as anime out of context. I don't. Oh, no. Okay, the worms on a string that we were talking about because of. Okay, I'm there with you.
Yeah.
I'm there with you. It took me a moment
we
to
had that
remember.
discussion, yeah.
Remington is right. Red Pill Rollins riding against the gays next month. Hey, this month now. This week's identity pitch, Shaun of the Silver Scrotum. Excuse me, that lolly is at least 500 years old, Shaun. To quote the Angel Gabriel, may your ails be many, and C.O. Seraphim the Shark Plushie, Aishiguchi, Blarf, Macaroni Cheetah, Daniel Wright, the name's Viking will conquer the world with Rornor Zoro as my navigator. That one got cut off, but I unfortunately know it by heart right now. Yep. Shaun ruined my happy sugar life when he decided. Just when you made any decision. Super Zoo, Erica McCorkle. Rem, what do you think of Magic the Gathering? Link Joker. Shaun wants to give Spoonman a thank you gang. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weebs from I Want a Marvel Movie starring Shaun as Spider-Man and Remington as Big Wheel. Help!
I'm sorry, is their name just Help?
Help! The simplicity.
The simplest request.
Daddy Rem, tell me about time story about Shaun's nut. Turban, we need a separate podcast just to hear Remington's Stacy's mom. Amazing muffin. What the fuck? No. Why? This last page, it somehow got worse.
It got worse?
As an example, watching.
That seems bad.
It's so broken. I don't know why or how it got worse. It just moved to the next page. Oh, we're in hell.
And refreshing fixes nothing, I assume.
No. Hopefully it's resolved next week, but it's how it goes sometimes.
Right.
It's the chaos of the patron reads. King Richrox, pro tips out of Titan CNH, the Susanator, Rock Hard, Yandere Neko, Anime, One Time, Hazel says, Burn the Fern, G Bottom, AK, Rem does it. If I had a gun. Have you? Cheese Monkey. Jack.
It sounds like you're having a stroke.
Especially, normally, we have some pretty long-ass patron names.
It's true.
And there's just, a certain rhythm, but now it's just every single... It got so short. I'm apologetic, but at the same time, it's funny. Federer Foxelf, Professor Fox, Jam Hands, Shaun Armpit.
I don't...
Farmer Weave, Likes Bikes, Cassidy. Now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Shaun?
It's hard to say, if I'm being honest. Fucking hell. I could give, rural Japan prefectures. That could be a thing.
Yeah, go for that, Shaun.
Look, I don't know, man. What else would I do? Random eldritch entities? Sure, let's do it.
That's an option. Yeah,
let's give everybody an eldritch entity.
All right. On that list, we have Triangle Warlock.
I'm going to be playing a very risky game by choosing the Cthulhu ones, that's for certain.
Hell yeah. As long as its cat's not there, you should be fine.
In theory. Yeah. All right. They can have a Lobon.
Domini.
Nath Hortha.
Rem, what is?
Yeah, Rem, what is?
What is?
What is? Okranos.
Rem is now.
Tamash.
Oh, Rem, what is Rem? Rem is now. That's what Rem is.
That answers the question.
Umbersite.
Zokalar.
Big Rare Kumiko.
Hagar Grionis.
That Mouse Girl.
Karakal.
Truckcoon.
Ariel.
Sporadic Silver.
Robigus.
Sammy K.
Abha.
Roscop.
Man, they had some fun with vowels in this, didn't they? Ayueb Nishal.
Carver 271.
Alethea.
Chris Thorsnet.
Just the general ancient ones.
Spoon Man the.
Azathoth.
Power Cells.
Azhoratha.
The Wheel of.
Bark Zok.
Beethoven 1201.
The Blackness from the Stars.
Umtums.
Loud Thing.
Silent Secondary.
Thalpa.
Miguel Delion.
That's a lot of X's. Kshakulluth.
And Allfather 413.
Dowla.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun will describe. He will pick a relationship in your life. Just a relationship you have someone, so it could be your boss, your mom, your girlfriend, boyfriend, etc. Right?
Okay.
Just whatever. And I will tell you how that manifests through body horror. On that list we have Akagi is best ship girl.
Yeah. It'll be your stepbrother.
And taking a page out of out of Hikaru's playbook, it's Eldritch Goo, baby. It's so much Eldritch Goo.
Oh.
Next up we have follow anime out of context. Blue Sky Week 57 request code Geese listen to the people. Shaun, you bunny chaser Ubao.
Your relationship will be your substitute teacher.
And the body horror they have it is their eyes falling out and new ones spawning in, and more eyes falling out, and they keep giving their fallen out eyes to you.
Jesus Christ.
Next we got same, I'm gay.
Your pet rat.
And with the pet rat is going to grow insanely large, but it's going to have a hollowed out chasm in its insanely large rib cage that you can live in. And it'll be fine, but it will also, just the general environment, it's going to be sticky and bloody and gooey. And last but not least, we have It's Pride Month, Shaun. Don't fuck it up.
I think I've done a good job so far. Thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, look, that'll remain to be said when we get to the bad ones. At any rate, let's go with your favorite podcast host.
And the body horror going to be represented by that, similar to a little bit Nightmare on Elm Street, but your favorite podcast host, their tongue is going to come through your headphones, start licking through your ear. You're going to try to take your headphones off. You won't be able to. The tongue will keep going deeper and deeper, slithering its way in until it touches your brain.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over onto AnimEighties@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do.